So before we get started with Hollow Month this year, I wanted to take a moment and talk about the Call of Duty Zombies mode and why it's so important to me, why I've played it for so many years. I know that a lot of people that have been here for a really long time might actually remember this stuff, but otherwise, most of the people around probably have not seen my Call of Duty content or know anything about the history of all of that and why the Zombies mode in particular is really close to my heart. So, indulge me for a few minutes. Let me tell you about the history of Call of Duty Zombies for me. Back in middle school, I wasn't a super popular kid. I knew a couple of kids in class, but other than that, didn't really have any close friends, and really just kind of stayed to myself and did my own thing. But near the end of middle school, the PlayStation 3 released, and with that, online multiplayer started to boom everywhere. And through online multiplayer, I met a lot of people. At the When I was younger, I played a bunch of Doom, and so when the PS3 came out and Call of Duty got super popular, I jumped on the bandwagon just to see what it was all about. And because of my prior experience with FPSs, although Doom's quite different, but you know, I was pretty good at Call of Duty. So through a lot of practice, I got even better, and because of that, a lot of people wanted to invite me to their clans to play with them, and through that, I just met a lot of cool people online. At the time, I also had a YouTube channel. I had only put like line rider videos on it because I didn't know what to put on it, but I had made the channel and had thoughts of maybe making video content at some point, or at least trying it out. So when I got into Call of Duty 4 and I met all these friends, I said, hey, maybe we could all work together and make a video. And from that, some of my most popular videos of all time, some of my old Call of Duty machinima videos and stuff, and my montages and stuff like that were made. There's even someone in the community right now, he talks about Pokemon cards a lot, who was a part of that. So it's really interesting to look back on it now and see those videos and see how well they're still, they're still some of my most popular videos on my channel. Specifically the Secret Rooms video, which was my first million view video, and is still up there as one of my most viewed videos. It's such a relic of the past, but it's really cool to look at and see what content was like back then. But anyways, I got into these communities and met a lot of cool people, and that kept going for a while. But more importantly than all of that, it kind of opened myself up more. Like I was more confident talking to people, more confident just being myself in person outside of the games as well. So that really started to flourish in high school. I really came out of my shell, met a lot of people, had a lot of friends, and one of those friends, his name was Charlie. I'd actually known Charlie since I was a kid, but we never really like became friends. We kind of just knew each other. But in high school, specifically the year going from middle school to high school, we became best friends. And when I say best friends, I literally mean like inseparable friends. It got to the point where we would go to school events and I would walk in and they would ask, "Where's Charlie?" Because they just were so used to seeing us standing next to each other. So that continued to be a friendship all the way through high school, all the way through college. We kind of grew up and got into our own things near college, but I still saw him almost every single weekend. And usually on those weekends, we would play Call of Duty Zombies. For those of you that don't know, Call of Duty Zombies is a side mode. It actually wasn't in the Call of Duty 4, the game that I originally played and got really popular off of, but it was in some of the later installments. And it has its own community that's kind of separate from the general Call of Duty community. But regardless, it's a really big mode, a really big community, and it's been going on for many, many years. And, I got into the Call of Duty multiplayer thing when I was in middle school and in early high school. But by the time I got to college, I had kind of grown out of a lot of that stuff. And even my YouTube channel became more of my own personal YouTube channel. I wasn't just chasing the trend of Call of Duty anymore. I remember I had to make a specific decision as to whether or not I wanted to start opening up my YouTube channel to my own personal stuff or if I just wanted to try to ride the Call of Duty train as long as I possibly could. And I made the decision to make it my own thing. I even from the very beginning, I didn't want my YouTube channel to be something for money. I wanted it to be a expression of myself. So somewhere along the line, like late high school, early college, I transferred out of the Call of Duty content and into Final Fantasy, all these other games that I was really, really passionate about. But in the background, I was still playing Call of Duty Zombies with my friend Charlie, and it became a really big passion thing for us. We played all the time. One of my fondest memories of me and him, and just in my entire life in general, is the day we finally beat the Origins Easter egg with just the two of us, duoed. I still remember that moment so vividly, and Solid Snake um, commented the other day and said, like, when was the time that you played a game and you were just kind of like speechless? And that is such a great example of a time where both of us were speechless. We beat this thing that we had been working months on. And in fact, even over a year at that point, because we only saw each other like every weekend or every other weekend. So we only got a little bit of time to work on it. And it took us a really long time to get good enough to do it and then finally do it. It was always like one of us was too tired or one of us just like wasn't in it that day. And so it took us like over a year of trying before we finally were both in the zone and both finally did it. And I just remember sitting there and looking at it on the screen and just like in awe. And both of us just said nothing for like 5 or 6 minutes, just sitting there staring at the screen. So that's like a really fond memory. So after college, we both grew up a lot. I got married. And then unfortunately, Charlie passed away. And it was extremely sudden. And it was a really, really dark time in my life. It was a very difficult time. And I still don't talk about it much. I still don't really bring it up ever at all. But I figured I'd bring it up now because it really kind of puts into perspective the zombies mode for me, because after that moment, or after that time, zombies became like this comfort food for me. I think everyone has that kind of comfort game, that game that they just kind of play when they want to turn off their brain and not think about things. And zombies became that for me after Charlie passed. I would just like play it whenever nothing else sounded good. And it was always just kind of for fun. I never really took it super duper seriously, but just something that I was really passionate about that I could just play and it would just make me feel at ease, I guess. So fast forward to now. There's a few well, there was like one stream we did a really, really long time ago where I played a zombies map. It was for like 6 people. It was back when I was streaming, first started streaming, and there were like 6 people in the chat, and I did the Call of the Dead Easter egg on stream, and I actually failed it, and then I uploaded a video that night, an unlisted video, just for the 6 people that were there, completing it, so I could show them what it looked like when it was completed. So I don't know why, but I just have like a really fond memory of that. But other than that, I've done absolutely zero zombies content on my channel. It's never really been like oh, it's so sacred to me that I would never, I'm keeping it to myself. Like I'm not going to put it on my channel. But more of just something where it's kind of my comfort game, and it just never really fit into any of the events or stuff I was doing. So I just kind of kept it off the stream. But then Hollow Month started, our biggest event of the year. It's Halloween themed. It's like perfect for zombies. But the first couple of years, I had other ideas, and I was like, yeah, doesn't really fit in this one, doesn't really fit in this one. So never really included it. But this year, I finally decided this was the year, this was the time to finally do a zombies event. And I knew if I was going to do it, I'd have to go big, So I did something a little crazy, and I spent the last probably like 7 or 8 months practicing every single zombies map ever made in every Call of Duty game that has a zombies map. And I compiled them all into a master challenge. I came up with a challenge for each map. Sometimes it's getting the Easter egg. If the map doesn't have an Easter egg, it has something else. And so I came up with whatever I thought was in the best spirit of Easter egg hunting on zombies maps. And I'll talk more about Easter egg hunting as we get into the event. I know everyone doesn't exactly know what that means. Zombies is a survival mode where you just defeat zombies. The waves get higher and higher and higher, it gets harder and harder until you eventually lose. But then they're also slowly inserted Easter eggs into the maps for more of a challenge for those that are really into the lore and the mystique of zombies in general. And then later on in the series, the Easter eggs ended up becoming like the main reason to play the mode. But I'll get into that during the event. I'm going to do a lot of explaining about zombies and what makes it great during the event. But for now, just know that I came up with like whatever challenge I thought would be the most interesting. And I compiled them into a giant challenge where we are going to do every single zombies map ever made in a row. There's a bunch of other things going on. I have a Celeste community event that's going to be a part of this. I have a bunch of giveaways that are going to be a part of this, and some bonus stuff as well. But for this video, I just wanted to talk about kind of what zombies means to me and why this event is so important to me. The other thing I've introduced into this event this year is a fundraiser for my wife and I's third adoption. We're going to be putting in our names for a new adoption um, probably within a week or two of this video. And so I am using this opportunity to kind of do a double charity. I hate to call it charity because it is going to me, but we're going to be donating 10% of the money raised during this event to our normal charity of the month. And then the other 90% of the money is all going to go into a bank account that is specifically going to be for our adoption costs. So the money this month will not be going towards 4-H Live or 4-H Productions. It's going to be going towards specifically a bank account for the adoption. I'm hoping that throughout this event, you'll see how much the zombies mode means to me, but more importantly, how much this community means to me, and even the people that have been here since I played Call of Duty back in the day, and how much Holomonth means to me as well. We've been doing this for 8 years now, and it has been such a blessing on my life and so many others' lives, and I'm just so happy that I could put this on and be a part of this with all of you. So thank you, and we'll see you in Holomonth 8.